Got the fours. You're in a little bit different lineups. As some of these coaches said, it's a really quick turnaround from the Eastern Sprints into the IRAs. You only got a few days to really work on selection and figure out your varsity fours mix with these lower boats of the lightweight squads. So right now it's looking like we got Columbia, Princeton, and Georgetown just over Harvard. So we got three crews in the lead. Harvard slipped back a little bit off the start. If you're going to call anyone, maybe Princeton by a foot over Georgetown and Columbia, but excellent racing going on between these three leaders. Harvard's going to have to get back on terms if they want to take part in the grand final of the lightweight race. So here we go. We've got, it looks like Georgetown now taking over the lead. Right there with Princeton and Columbia as well. So three crews overlapping. Harvard is definitely not off the pace by too much. Harvard's definitely going to be still in this race. We got three crews moving on into that grand final on Sunday, seeing what they can do. But great racing from that first heat of the lightweight varsity fours with, and Georgetown just edging out on Princeton and Columbia. It's very tightly packed. Princeton, Columbia, and Georgetown with Harvard trailing. Fred, let's check it out, see who you got in the lead.
All right, you're correct. The Hoyas are in the lead. And as we pointed out here in the launch, my compatriot Paul Wilkins really identified a good swing and hang from that Georgetown crew. And they have got a 2-seat advantage over the Tigers, maybe 1.5 seats. And then it's Harvard marginally over Columbia, maybe 1 seat over Columbia. So very tightly packed, all crews within a length of each other. And now it looks like the Tigers are beginning to advance on Georgetown. The Tigers taking a press here. Wow, these boats are dead level. Take a check here. This is the last race of the morning. Take a check on the ratings. Tigers at 36. Let's see what the Hoyas are here. They're 36.5 too. They're pretty much stroke for stroke. I think Columbia is beginning to take a press here. Harvard's slipping back another seat. Not anywhere near out of it by any means, but just back a little bit. And I think the Lions are starting to roar here. They are coming up even with the Hoyas now and are starting to press the Tigers. Into the third 500. Can the Lions catch the Tigers as the Hoyas begin to fade just a little bit? Patience is the word for the Lions, and I like their real patience at the belly as they come around. The hands come around, but there's not a rush. There's a nice gather in the bow by the Columbia Lions here. And they're beginning to inch up on the Tigers. Let's see what happens. 34.5 for Columbia. That gives them money in the bank for the last 750 here. So here come the Lions. They're stroke for stroke with the Tigers. The Hoyas have faded 4 seats, and Harvard's 5 or 6 seats behind the Hoyas. Yeah, I like the way the Lions are rowing here. Very controlled. And they're giving Princeton a good battle. And see if they're going to shift it up. Because so far, the Lions have been very conservative in their rating. And we know the Tigers can sprint. Though I know that program. They know how to get it up and go. Cut it off. We'll get ready to toss it over to Colleen and Steve. And here come the Lions. They're up 2 seats over to the tent.
All right. It sure is a race coming from the Lions and the Tigers. And you can see that this drone view, you get both boats. You got the bucket going in the middle of the boat there, but good power coming from the crew from Colombia. You can talk about patience, but they've done a good job of controlling the race. Nice job by Columbia here to take the lead. It looks like they're inching away from Princeton. Georgetown staying in that final qualifying spot. Harvard about a half a length down on Georgetown, but we're coming into the final 250 meters, and it's going to take a huge sprint from Harvard to walk through Georgetown for a qualifying spot. It looks like they've got it. 3 spots to go through. So 3 spots to go through. We're seeing the crews starting to lift their rates up real high. Columbia doing a nice job out front. Princeton trying to kind of track them back down. Georgetown in that final 3rd qualifying spot with Harvard alongside the shore. Harvard in the red closest to the shore, really trying to move and challenge Georgetown right now. Can they get there? It's going to be running out of room a little bit, but Columbia, your leaders, Columbia's done a nice job to stick with the Tigers in the early part of the race and then kind of just inch back through and then make a pretty decisive move with about 500 meters to go. So it's Columbia looking very strong out in front. The guys from New York doing great job. Columbia with the lead here. So the Columbia Lightweights Varsity 4 width is your winner of the final race of the morning. Princeton in a solid 2nd place ahead of Georgetown with Harvard in 4th. So 3 crews moving on into that grand final for the lightweight 4 width. So that's our final race of the morning. Excellent racing. Gotta love the lightweight field here at the 2019 IRA races. So great job by all crews this morning. We're going to wrap up the morning with just a quick recap and let you know what's coming up for the afternoon. So this morning, what we saw, great racing, things kind of in the heavyweight division, things kind of played to their seed almost all the way down with crews in the top seeds moving into the semifinals. But what happens now is things sort out into the repechage races this afternoon. And I think that we could be seeing some great reps this afternoon. So even if you don't have a fighting interest in the reps, I suggest you get back down here because these are some races that 1 boat to qualify. You see a lot of crews trying to really put everything on the line for that 1 spot through the repechage races. So starting at 150 today, we've got the men's varsity 8s. We got 4 of those. The men's 2nd varsity at 230. 3rd varsities, we got 2 reps running at 310 and 320. And then we'll wrap up the afternoon of reps here at Lake Natoma with the 3:30 start of the men's varsity 4.